Hello Blazers, today's your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian. Hi guys, doing today? Welcome to a brand new video. In today's video guys, once again, welcome to the beautiful city of Tbilisi, Georgia. Now I'm actually standing in front of the parliament right now, which is, if I was to do this in Russia, I'd be arrested immediately. But anyway, here we are again in the center of Tbilisi, and in today's video I wanted to, again, talk to you guys about just my experience, because that's the best thing I could talk about right now. And in this video in particular, I actually want to discuss what it's like being in Georgia and kind of a little bit compare it to Russia, just in the sense of like day-to-day life. I mean, I've been here for about like over 2 weeks now. I have to say that in this video I have mostly only positive things to say because actually, well, if I'm gonna be completely honest, Georgia is pretty cool. So yeah, people, let's take a walk around the beautiful city of Tbilisi, the center, and talk about what being here is like. Let's go. Okay, so the first thing that I want to point out, which is actually pretty obvious, but the way I look, is the weather. I mean, it's pretty incredible because right now, just looking at what my friends are posting and what my relatives are posting from Russia, and it's like, it's not great right now. It's like just snowing still. I mean, come on. As you guys can see, I'm barely dressed, and it's not a single puddle, not a single, you know, drop of snow. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice, and I cannot even describe how happy I am that I don't have to walk through mud and slush right now. But weather is kind of an obvious point. Obviously, Georgia is gonna have better weather than Russia. I mean, it's what I expected. But one thing I didn't know about, and I didn't know what to expect really, is the infrastructure, right? In a lot of ways, it's more developed than Western Europe. For example, in a sense, first thing I want to talk about is like just using credit cards. Well, if you manage to open one, it is very nice. I mean, literally in every single store you go, they're gonna have a terminal. You can pay with Apple Pay, whatever, you can pay with card. Basically, it's kind of like in Russia, because in Germany, for example, when I was in Germany, I was actually like amazed at how bad it is, because in Germany, I swear to God, like in most places, they don't even take credit cards, they only take cash. It's a freaking nightmare. So I didn't know what to expect from Georgia in this regard, but it's actually pretty good, and you can pay with card anywhere, which is nice. But another thing, as far as infrastructure or logistics or whatever, I didn't even know how to describe this goes. Basically, this country is on another level when it comes to food delivery, okay? Because as you guys know, I'm Russian, so I'm basically an alcoholic, automatically, of course. And the thing is, guys, I don't know if you're actually aware of this, but in Russia, there's a curfew on selling alcohol. So, like in Moscow or most of Russia, you can only buy alcohol until 11 p.m. And in St. Petersburg, where I've actually spent, you know, the last 6 months of my life, you can only buy it until 10 p.m. In Russian, like, grocery delivery apps, you cannot order alcohol whatsoever, because apparently by our local laws, it's prohibited. But here in Georgia, you can literally order beer. And this, I'm not gonna lie, as a Russian alcoholic, this is a life changer for me. This is everything I've ever wanted, okay? Just always wanted to be able to order beer at 3 a.m. in the morning when there's a party going on. And now that dream came true. I love it. Now, the next thing that I want to mention, which I actually already talked about on my Instagram, and literally everybody was like, what the fuck? I don't even know if it's like a negative or a positive. It's just very interesting. Here in Georgia, in residential buildings, you have to pay to use the elevator, which is something I've never seen before in my life, but it actually kind of makes sense if you think about it. Here's one interesting fact about Georgia. In their elevators, you have to pay for the elevator. If you arrive to your friend's place or whatever, if you get into the elevator, inside the elevator, it looks like a kind of like a post box, and you can basically throw a diamond there, and there you go, you can go up now. Or there's like a little electronic thing, and if you actually live in the apartment, there's like a key that you can use, and you can actually pay monthly, and you have to like basically put that key to the electronic thing inside the elevator to go up the elevator, which is yeah, if you don't have it, you're screwed basically. If you don't have cash, you're also screwed. And in a lot of buildings as well, in order to go down the elevator, you also have to pay. So that's, for example, the case in my building. Yes, I've actually rented an apartment here. I'm gonna make a video about it later, but yeah, if you're trying to go use the elevator, you have to pay. And the reason why I'm saying that this kind of makes sense is because when you pay for communal services, you have to pay for maintenance of, you know, every part of the building, and you also have to pay for the maintenance of the elevator, obviously. In Russia, for example, that's just a mandatory payment. Everybody has to do it, and the elevator is completely free to use. But here, apparently, it's done that way so that people who live on like the first floor, whatever, people who don't need to use the elevator do not have to pay for the communal services to basically repair the elevator and stuff. It's just very bizarre. I've never seen anything like this, but it is what it is, you know. I'm gonna be paying for elevators a lot here. Next thing I want to mention is that I guess I have a lot of positive things to say about just the air and water in the city, because, you know, guys, I'm from Chelyabinsk, you know, basically like the armpit of Russia, industrial city, you know. In pretty much every Russian city I've been to, when I'm looking at the skyline, I'm used that there's gonna be like pipes, you know, churning out black smoke and everything. And that is not the case here in Tbilisi. It's not an industrial city. So when you look at the city skyline, you know, I look out from my window, I do not see a single pipe or any smoke like coming out of some factory at all, which is bizarre. Like, I'm not used to not seeing shit being spewed into the sky. And obviously that leads to the quality of air here being a lot nicer. As far as I understand, when I've been around people's houses, and people don't really have like a water filter in their apartment, because apparently the case is that here you can just drink water straight out of the sink, and it's actually pretty decent. Like, running water is actually okay, which is interesting. By the way, check out this place. This used to be like an old cable car station here apparently, and now it's abandoned, and it's right in the center of the city as well, which is kind of wild, but yeah. Some Soviet stuff, yes. Now, another thing I want to mention, I mean, it's fitting as we're getting like to a crosswalk here, crossing the road, and this is what the locals here say as well. So I hope if you're Georgian and if you watch this video, you're not going to be annoyed at me, but basically, there are no rules of the road here in this place, to be honest, right? I mean, thing is, this comes both from the side of the drivers and the pedestrians. I mean, literally, on pretty much any street, you just see people jaywalking like crazy. I mean, you know, honestly, I would say this is like the polar opposite of Dubai, which I was at like a couple of months ago. In Dubai, basically, if there's like a street crossing and it's the red lights and there's no cars coming, there's like not a single car in the vicinity, the people will literally just stand there and wait for the green lights because they don't want to break the rules. Here in Georgia, it might be the red lights. There's gonna be like as much cars as, you know, are passing like right now, and people are gonna still jaywalk, and the drivers stop and let them go because like there's just so many people jaywalking that like it's hard. It's you can't really even do anything. Oh, спасибо. Yeah, just getting recognized here willy-nilly by Russians, crazy. Yeah, people jaywalk here a lot, and when in Rome, do as the Romans do, or when in Tbilisi, do as the Tbilisians do, I guess. When people are just jaywalking, yeah, I'm doing the exact same thing. But also this, like, disappearance of road rules doesn't only come from the side of the pedestrians, but also from the side of the drivers, because honestly, the drivers here sometimes don't really seem to care if it's the red lights or if it's the green light either. I mean, there's been at least 2 situations where I was actually crossing the street on the green lights, and I almost got ran over. You know, I've actually been told stories here by locals who've been saying that, yeah, you know, my friend, we get run over basically by a car like every single month. So I hope I'm not talking out of my ass here completely, but I think it's pretty true. You know, the rules of the roads in Georgia kind of barely exist, which is again interesting. Now, another thing that I guess needs to be discussed when you're talking about, say, a particular city is how expensive it is. And I would say Tbilisi is a pretty reasonably priced place, you know? I mean, if you don't take rent into account, because, I mean, obviously right now, like I said already in previous videos, like 5 billion Russians came here or something, and like, you know, rent prices have just skyrocketed. It's crazy. But basically, if you talk about prices for like public transport or groceries or you know, restaurants or whatever and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty reasonably priced place. I would say it's really hard for me right now as well because I still count everything in rubles, even though that's an irrelevant currency at this point, right? I should just count everything in dollars. But I would say that like if you go into a restaurant here, if you get a dinner for 2, it'd probably be, you know, like 20-25 bucks, which is pretty much what it is in like you know, Russia as well, for example. I would say it's probably less expensive than St. Petersburg, and like things like public transport and metro and stuff like that, for example, they are cheaper than they are in Russia, which is pretty good. Now, another thing that I would say I quite actually like about Tbilisi is that I feel like it has kind of a really chill vibe overall. I've already talked about this on my channel before, for example, you know, how like Moscow, for example, is like the vibe is just like not it for me, you know? It's like too crazy, too much people, everybody's sort of running around. You essentially feel out of place all the time, kind of that kind of thing. I mean, I feel out of place right now walking around just vlogging like a moron. But anyway, before on my channel I said that like St. Petersburg, for example, as opposed to Moscow, has a more of a chill vibe overall. And that is like one of the reasons why I chose to move to St. Petersburg instead of Moscow. And I'm I'm sorry for being out of breath, by the way. I mean, these steep streets of Tbilisi, it's a very mountainous area. It's killing me. Anyway. But yeah, back to my point. I feel like Tbilisi has even more of a chill vibe than St. Petersburg does. And I feel like that's just like the mentality of the Georgian people. They're just very chill, sort of laid back a little bit. They don't stress too much, and that is what I like, because I need more of that in my life, because I'm like a one neurotic motherfucker, I'm not gonna lie, right? So yeah, I do like that. And also another thing that I would say overall about me being here is that, I mean, in a sense, right, like this is a more liberal and free country than Russia is, for real. Especially with the state of Russia right now, okay? So obviously being here currently, it does a little bit feel like, you know, a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders, if that makes a lot of sense. Because, you know, again, I'm not like being fucking pursued by anybody. You know, it's not like I have any trouble with the governments, and I hope that doesn't change, you know, fingers crossed. But still, you know, being there and making the content that I make and just being me in that society overall has always kind of felt a little bit anxiety inducing. Obviously not in the sense that I was like afraid to go outside or whatever, but you always felt like this weight on your shoulders. And I don't think it's really, I don't think I can really even explain it to you guys unless you've been in a position like me, I guess. So yeah, in some sort of sense, it does feel like once I came here, a weight has been sort of lifted off my shoulders and I can breathe a little more. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. And it's nice. And again, I'm very grateful to the people of Georgia and the country of Georgia in the first place for even letting us in here, because you guys are cool as hell. So yeah, people, I think that's pretty much where I'm gonna round out this video, though. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Just wanted to like share my thoughts about the first couple of weeks of being here. It's pretty cool once again. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy today's video, then once again, as always, please make sure to slap the like on it. And yeah, if you want to support me additionally, you know, my Bitcoin and fucking crypto, you know, wallets are down in the description. As always, you already know the drill. Thank you, peeps, so much for watching today's video once again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.